you like to know common real estate Q&A? You are in the right place, so stay tuned. I am Koko. I am a real estate agent in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Between rising interest rates, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the incoming spring market, home buyers and the sellers might feel slightly overwhelmed by all of the changes happening in the 2022 housing market. Last year, home inventory sank to its lowest levels ever recorded. New Brunswick is no joke with low inventory. All the buyers are crying. Multiple offer is happening all over the place, sometimes $100,000 over asking price. But meanwhile, the Bank of Canada is preparing to increase its overnight rate again. What does it mean? It means spelling potential changes for new and existing mortgage holders. With these trends in play, it leaves a lot of questions for those looking to make a move in real estate market in 2022. What are the factors that cause the housing market to react? Is it the economy, COVID-19, buyer behavior, or a combination? I think it's always a combination of multiple factors. The difference right now is that they all seem to be pulling in the same direction, which is why the market is so strong. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, home buyers have sought out larger living spaces as working and schooling from home remained common. In some cases, buyers have migrated to outer city communities or other provinces in search of more affordable prices. There are so many buyers from out of provinces moving to New Brunswick, seeking a bigger space and affordable housing price and living cost. Other homeowners have chosen to stay put and renovate their homes. Rising inflation with the cost of living, looming interest rate increases, heightened immigration targets, and improving employment rates, all trends that could influence the market in 2022. The 2021 housing market was heightened by record low supply, pushing sold prices to new heights. Same thing happening in New Brunswick too. As soon as new list hit on the market, it's sold immediately. Even before hit on the market, it's already been sold. It's crazy, but it's a reality right now. And the New Brunswick house sold price was 30% up since 2022 and 2021, which is crazy. I just did a market update for last 7 days, last Monday. And the average price sold in New Brunswick was $340,000. This year, Korea predicts home sales will fall about 8.6% to 610,700 transactions. Although this would still be the second best year on record for sales, the urgency to buy a home based to rise out the pandemic will continue to fade in 2022, having an impact on market competition. So some of the house was sold in 2020 and it's already back on the market 2022. I think what's going on is some of the homeowner who purchased the house out from the province decided to sell. The stress test for uninsured mortgages remains the same for now. What are Canada's other current mortgage qualifications that the buyers and the sellers should know about? The stress test isn't just the interest rate you have to qualify at. You have to qualify at that rate along with having a minimum credit score, minimum down payment, and the gross and the total debt service requirements. Those are the main elements of the stress test. It's not just the interest rate. Okay, next, inflation is expected to be high in 2022. What impacts will this have on the housing market and the mortgage rates? This is a good question. Interest rates are going to rise in order to keep inflation under control, but the impact on the housing market will be muted by the stress test. In New Brunswick, goods and food prices are going up, especially meat and dairy. Like I said in the other YouTube video, New Brunswick is still one of the lower cost living province, but I see my own eyes, prices are going up. Since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in spring 2020, borrowers have been able to take advantage of some of the lowest rates in history, a peak for new home buyers and those looking to negotiate their mortgage. Now the Bank of Canada is looking to increase rates again, carefully in line with its inflation target of 2%. Although the Bank of Canada did not raise its mortgage inflating overnight rate during its first 2020 policy rate announcement in January, it seems like the next rate hike could be coming in March, and it did happen. We have experienced low interest rate for a couple of years and the money is so cheap. So what's happening is investor is buying all the apartments or properties for investing purpose, but by the increasing rate, some of the investors gonna scare away because they're all about the numbers. So here is the good news for the buyers. We have more chance to win the multiple offers. Real estate price has continued to rise. How much higher could they go in 2022, and what would it take for growth to level off? This is a very good question too. Housing prices are expected to continue to rise in 2022. The main reason is demand and supply conditions are the tightest they have ever been. As interest rates rise, prices will likely start to level off, but we will likely measure that full impact in years rather than months. Chronically low housing supply against the comparatively high demand was a recipe for rising home prices in 2021. Last year, the national average home price was $713,500. Like I said previously, last 7 days in New Brunswick, the average home price sold was around $340,000. So compared to nationwide, New Brunswick housing market is still very, very affordable. In its updated housing market forecast published in December 2021, Canadian Real Estate Association predicted the national average will rise 7.6% annually to around $739,500 in 2022. Although price growth isn't expected to be as extreme this year, many of the factors that contribute to upward momentum are expected to linger in 2022, such as the ongoing home supply shortage. By the end of December 2021, for instance, there were just 1.6 months of inventory nationwide. Okay, next, if I'm a buyer or a seller in 2022, what can I expect when the spring market comes around? When does that period typically start? It's already started in New Brunswick. A typical spring market in Canada usually starts in March. In 2021, it was February, and if 2022 is anything like last year, you may see a burst of new listings in the spring, but because the overall stock of supply is so low and the demand is so strong, they will likely be gobbled up very quickly. The spring market is known as one of the busiest time to buy and sell real estate, and 2022 does not appear to be an exception. which I so agree. On the heels of the tightest market conditions ever recorded in 2021, the upcoming spring market is expected to see little supply compared to buyer demand. Some realtors anticipate affordability and the work-from-home movement will drive buyer motivations this spring, like pushing purchasers to the outskirts of major urban areas which tend to offer more space for fewer dollars. Those moving back to city areas due to reopening offices might also influence the condo market this spring. Is there potential for traditionally smaller markets to surge in 2022 due to people's mindsets and desires around housing chasing? This is a good question too. To some extent, that's already happened. I see some houses are on the market in 2020. It's already back on the market in 2022. I guess people are moving back to the province. The question is, to what extent will that continue in 2022? And to what extent will it reverse? It's possible that the people could continue to move out of cities while others start to return. This would mean a lot of activity in real estate market. No one has a crystal ball, I find, because it's so unpredicted. But the market will correct itself. It's a crazy seller's market. I guess buyer's market will come back. Like mortgage rate, it is now, money is so cheap, like I said, but in 1970 to 1980, if you remember, the mortgage rate was, highest was like close to 20%. Can you imagine? Anyway, if you are looking to buy or sell a home in 2022, consult the advice of the local realtor like me to get the most up-to-date advice on all of your real estate questions. And I will see you at the next video.